let's start with our lead stories.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system, it's got to be biblical.
Yeah, so a lot of people, once again, it's really easy on certain days to know what to talk about because we get like a bunch of emails, we get text messages, we get people letting us know that, hey, check this out. And, a lot of good research that's been done from people, just, producers out there. So we appreciate all of it. But the story comes from the New York Times. And the headline here is A Reversible Form of Death? Scientists revive cells in dead pigs' organ. Yay.
Yes, and some old school Canary Cry listeners might be thinking, hey, this sounds pretty familiar. Well, yes, it is pretty familiar because we've been tracking stuff like this for 10 years.
Yeah. The article here is interesting. It says the pigs had been lying dead in a lab for an hour. No blood was circulating in their bodies. Their hearts were still, their brain waves flat. Then a group of Yale scientists, which is where the skull and bones originate. So there's that connection.
Yeah, I was going to say, if any scientists could bring pigs back to life, it would be the Yale scientists for so many reasons.
Yeah. Then a group of Yale scientists pumped a custom-made solution into the dead pigs' bodies with a device similar to a heart-lung machine. What happened next adds questions to what science considers the wall between life and death. Although the pigs...
does science consider the wall between life and death?
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a science thing. It seems like more of a spiritual concept.
Sure,
but okay.
Sure. Although the pigs were not considered conscious in any way, their seemingly dead cells revived. Their hearts began to beat as the solution, which the scientists called Organ X, circulated in veins and arteries. Cells in their organs, including the heart, liver, kidneys, and brain, were functioning again, and the animals never got stiff like a typical dead pig. Other pigs dead for an hour were treated with ECMO, a machine that pumped blood through their bodies. They became stiff, their organs swelled and became damaged, their blood vessels collapsed, and they had purple spots on their backs where blood pooled. Now, first of all, where's PETA? I don't know why PETA is okay with all this.
PETA's funding the experiment.
Yeah.
That's their whole thing. They want to bring no animal death whatsoever. We must keep all these pigs alive or at least undead because it's the natural way of things.
Yeah. The researchers say their goals are to one day increase the supply of human organs for transplant by allowing doctors to obtain viable organs long after death. And they say they hope their technology might also be used to prevent severe damage to hearts after a devastating heart attack or brains after a major stroke. Must preserve the organs for transplant and selling, I'm sure.
Talk about they shall seek death and
Not
death
find
shall
it.
flee from them.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you die in a car crash or something and your body gets taken to the hospital. You're walking up to those pearly gates. You're getting your name read out of the book and you're just entering heaven. Finally, the promise has been fulfilled. And boom, they start pumping your body filled with solution X or whatever.
Yeah.
And boom, you're back in your body, but you can't move. You're just now sitting there living as a sort of farm animal to have your organs removed.
Yeah. So this is where it gets kind of interesting. So Stephen Latham, a bioethicist at Yale University who worked closely with the group, said it was the first step, saying that, this is a while before humans, or we're going to use this in humans, allegedly, right? That's what they tell the public. The group, led by Dr. Nenad Sestin, professor of neuroscience, of comparative medicine, of genetics, and of psychiatry, wow, multidisciplined man, at the Yale School of Medicine, was stunned by its ability to revive cells. Quote, "We did not know what to expect," said Dr. David Andrejevic, also a neuroscientist at Yale. All these Yale scientists.
Yeah.
And one of the authors
it's
of the
almost
paper.
as if they have some sort of dark secret club of influential people who are working behind the scenes to accomplish a shared agenda.
Yeah. there was the clip that I had a clip from, I think ABC a long time ago. It was like 2000 or 2001 when ABC did a report on the Skull and Bones, and somebody had filmed a ritual, and you just hear this person yelling, "Kiss the skull, kiss the skull." That's an agent deceit, by the way. So this doctor here, Dr. David Andrzejewicz, said, quote, "Everything we restored was incredible to us," end quote. Others not associated with the work were similarly astonished. Quote, "It's unbelievable, mind-blowing," said Nita Farahani, a Duke law professor who studies ethical, legal, and social implications of emerging technologies. And Dr. Farahani added, "The work raises questions about the definition of death. Quote, we presume death is a thing. It is a state of being," she said. Quote, "Are there forms of death that are reversible or not? Question mark. And it goes into the history a little bit here of what they had done before. So Organ X is this company that's doing this experiment. Yeah, go ahead.
Make a comment real quick.
Sure.
I mean, what a strange sort of philosophical position for her to be taking. I mean, I don't know what in response, like what she was responding to there, but it sounds like they've had been doing some brainstorming on how to sort of justify the idea of reversing death. Oh, it's not a thing. It's not an entity. It's just a state of being. Okay. We change people's state of beings all the time. No need. Don't think about it too much.
Right. It goes into the history here where they did a similar experiment to dead brains, or the brains of dead pigs, which I think we reported on. And it was called Brain X. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's Brain X. I have the study here from April 2019, restoration of brain circulation and cellular function hours post-mortem. And one of the things they said in this abstract of this article or this scientific paper is that, the brain, the synapses were responding, but there was no electrocorticographic activity. So there wasn't like electrical activity, but there were synaptic activity, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah. The hardware was moving.
Right.
The hardware was responding. They just they claim, as far as they understand it, which is not very well, by the way, that there was no software running. Right.
So yeah, that was Brain X. Now this is Organ X. And let me continue on with the article. The Organ X solution contained nutrients, anti-inflammatory medications, drugs to prevent cell death, nerve blockers, substances that dampen the activity of neurons, and prevented any possibility of the pigs regaining consciousness. Oh, is that all it is? That's all it is. It's just
purposefully.
Just a little thing to dampen the neuronic activity, and then
Yeah, we're going to bring them back to life, but we're also going to anesthetize them so they don't actually become conscious again and break from their restraints and murder all the scientists in this building as some sort of zombie pig zombie revenge plot.
When they treated the dead pigs, the investigators took precautions to make sure the animals did not suffer. The pigs were anesthetized. Oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time saying that word. Anesthetized. Thank you. Before they were killed by stopping their hearts, and the deep anesthesia continued throughout the experiment. In addition, the nerve blockers in the Organ X solution stop nerves from firing in order to ensure the brain was not active. The researchers also chilled the animals to slow chemical reaction.
Guns, this implies...
Yep.
This implies that when they do bring them back to life, that they're dangerous, and they're conscious, and they're feeling pain, and they will take revenge.
That's what I'm saying.
If you don't anesthetize them beforehand, then you're in trouble. The implications of the very fact that they anesthetized the dead bodies of pigs before bringing them back to life is a clear signal that if they did not do this, the pigs either would suffer or would become full zombies and would eat everybody's brains.
Yeah, individual brain cells were alive, but there was no indication of any organized global nerve activity in the brain.
Yeah, because you were anesthetized them. You just said you put nerve blockers. They're like, yeah, we filled them with nerve blockers. Nothing's going to happen in that brain. And it was successful. We brought them back to life. And don't worry, there's no nerve activity.
Now, this is where it gets.
That's wild.
This is where it gets weird. It's already weird, but just for these scientists. There was one startling finding. The pigs treated with Organ X jerked their heads when the researchers injected an iodine contrast solution for imaging. Dr. Latham emphasized that while the reason for the movement was not known, there was no indication of any involvement of the brain.
Because you put all the anesthesia in them and the nerve blockers. Of course, there was no signal.
And I think this is the big takeaway here. Yale has filed for a patent on the technology.
There you go.
Yale's going to resurrect a bunch of people or at least preserve the organs and sell it and make a lot of money.
I mean, this is it is very suspicious that they have to do what they do to keep the being from actually getting up and walking around and feeling and being conscious. But I mean, you're talking full on zombies.
Yeah,
this is just full on zombies, and this is not some bizarre backwoods, alternative news site. This is the New York Times.
Yeah, New York Times. I like how they put this too.
Gone full mainstream, baby.
Yeah, they talk about how, when there's in most countries, or this is a quote, in most countries, transplant teams wait 2 hours for patients to die. Then he said if the patient is not yet dead, they do not try to retrieve organs. As a result, 50 to 60% of patients who died after life support was seized and whose families wanted to donate their organs cannot be donors. So we got a problem. Half the people that want to be donors can't. So we got to find a solution, literally, to inject.
We got to bring them back to life, keep them anesthetized, or else their family might want them back. But we can't have that because we got to harvest their organs.
We got a quote from Brendan.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we got a quote from Brendan Parent. He's a lawyer and ethicist, and he says, "Quote." By the accepted medical and legal definition of death, these pigs were dead, Mr. Parent said. I like how his last name is Parent. But he added, quote, a critical question is what function and what kind of function would change things? Would the pigs still be dead if the group did not use nerve blockers and its solution in their brains functioned again? Those are ethical questions to be asked. So there you go, zombie pigs.
This kind of fits in an interesting way with the necrobotics that we talked about.
Yes.
The
spiders
using the dead corpses of insects as robots, and here we go. What is it? A week later, we're talking about potentially reanimating anybody.
A little more intense though, because this is straight up reviving. And of course, the part that really jumped out at me is not so much that the experiment took place and these animals were jerking around or whatever. It's more so that the reaction of the scientists, we were astonished, we were mind blown. And because that reminds me of Revelation 13:3, where one of the beasts had a mortal head wound and he was healed and people were amazed. They marveled, they wondered. And then they followed the beast. And so it's just a very interesting parallel where it's like, oh, there's a similar reaction. And of course they're going, hey, we're not using it in humans yet, but hey, we're saving that for the big finale, the big Antichrist finale.
Right. Right.
And also the pigs being Neuralink, they're doing a bunch of stuff with the pigs and the brains. Jesus sending demons into pigs. This is all the pig references that you would want. But why pigs? Why is it always the pigs?
I don't know. But what a exciting beginning to this Friday's show, guys.